I'm repairing this old flywire door. All the flywire's gone. We have to get this beading off, and the best way to do that is use a scraper. Got the chisel. The best way is to use a scraper to get underneath. You try to save as much of this beading as you can. I have bought some more, but so you put the scraper underneath, and then you jam a chisel in between the flywire door and the scraper, and just tap it with a hammer just to lift it up gently, just to loosen it up, and then you can wedge it a little bit. There's a nail right there, so we'll go alongside that nail. Same thing, just tap scraper in first, then this goes, chisel goes underneath between the scraper and the door. Just tap it up, and that should lift up that nail. Looks like that one's going to break, not too worried about it. Then just wedge it out. Okay, I'm going to salvage what I can out of them, and some I'll use, some I won't. I'm going to have to glue this bit here, add some braces there like I've already got here. I had some, but anyhow, we'll see how it turns out. Put the scraper in fairly close to the nail. See the nail there? Alright, can't get it in, just use the hammer. Chisel you put in this way so that the wedge is above, so then you'll be able to lever it if you need to. So that just goes underneath there. Once again, tap it in. You see how the nail is now coming out, and you can wedge it. Don't wedge it too much because you've got another nail up there. So what you want to do is try to wedge them all at once without breaking it. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to film this while I'm doing it. You can see how I'm lifting it up without breaking it. Okay, I've removed most of this beading. We'll just clean it up and put it back. Leave the nails in there. Don't try to knock them out, it'll just make a mess. You might even put them in the same hole. Okay, it's good to salvage as much as you can, because sometimes you may have done a special cut. You can see in the end there that I needed to do a special cut so that it fits around the handle, you know, or whatever. Anyhow, so you keep them. Next bit now is to get all this flywire off, and for that I've got to remove all these tacks, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. And some of these are just coming out. Okay, the best way to remove these tacks is to use a chisel and to just get underneath them. You get a hammer and just tap it so you can raise it. There, got them popped out. But other ones that don't pop out, you use some pincers like this, and you get them up enough so that you can just grab it with these, and then when you grab it, you just rock this and that lifts it out. So I'm going to do that and remove all the flywire. When removing these tacks, don't pull the flywire off straight away, because when you're wedging underneath there, the flywire is distributing the tension to lift the whole tack up. I've got rather small ones, so they're coming up easily. But yeah, don't just rip the flywire off and then try to get so much harder to get a tack out when it's just in wood. But the flywire helps you lift it all up. Okay, I've removed most of the tacks. I'm going to go and just remove the last couple. There's a couple more around the place. And then I'm going to fill, you won't see this bit of wood here because it'll have the beading on top, so I'm going to fill it with plastic bonds, and I'll show you that later. Door's also broken here, so I'm going to need to glue this, so I'm going to get some clamps and glue that up next. The door is circa 1940s or 50s. I added these little corner bits, so that circa 1910 or so. I added this little bar here, so it had kids pushing on the flywire or kicking the bottom of the door here. So I'll remove the tacks, clean it up, glue all this, and I shall be back. I'm going to use a little cheap little corner sander. It's really good actually. Only costs $23 from Bunnings and come with 10 sanding sheets and warranty and a whole lot. But yeah, it's like really cool. So just to clean it up before I put the filler on there. Didn't overdo the sanding for two reasons. After I fill it, I'm probably going to have to sand again. And I like to leave a bit of age on it. I love like this. I'm not clean it with a cloth, but I want to leave some of the age on it. So I'm going to do that next. We're going to use this product, Sally's Plastic Bond, which is really good. You need 2 scrapers. You put some of that stuff in there, and then you add this to harden it. The amount you add, more of this you add, the quicker it hardens. 2 scrapers because you'll be scraping it off one onto the other, so that they keep it clean, and you've got to do it really quickly. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a little cheap little corner sander. It's really good actually. Only costs $23 from Bunnings and come with 10 sanding sheets and warranty and a whole lot. But yeah, it's like really cool. So just to clean it up before I put the filler on there. Stuff also acts like a glue, but I want to clamp it, so I'm going to use some wood glue. I filled it everywhere. It's really nice to spread when it's nice and fresh, when it's just made it. Just go straight into a hole. So use the later stuff gets very messy. You can even use it to, here for example, there's a bit of wood broken off. I'm going to shape it and make it look like nothing's broken. Okay, now putting the glue in. Sometimes you just move the wood like this to work the glue down. See, it's working its way down. Okay, I'm going to glue it all up and clamp it. The good thing about this plastic bond filler is that it sets. Good thing about this plastic bond filler is it sets really fast, and you can sand it. I'm using a DeWalt sander to do it a little bit quicker. And it sits like wood, so I'll clean all that up too. It will sit so the nails and tacks can go into something really solid, nothing will be loose. Okay, done a bit of sanding. I'm going to stop now because I want to. It's still be hidden, so I won't see it. I'll let that dry for. Let it dry overnight. Doing some more filling and sanding. Clean all these bits up. See, I'm doing this edge here. I'll fill it and resand it, and you won't even know. So it'll look good when it's done. Okay, the glue should have set. I'll take the clamps off. Do a bit more sanding on this. These little edge bits you can just scrape off. Really want to put the sander in there, you'll hard to keep it flat, and you'll leave scratches and damage the rest of the wood. You don't want to overdo it anyhow. So it's old. Okay, I've basically sanded it. Like I said, these little bits hanging over the edge here, just flick off with a chisel, with your fingernail even. And I'll get to them in a second. This has a bit of flicks in the brace here, I think. One of them did. maybe not too bad. Got to put the two braces at this end. I'm going to fill these gaps with this filler as well. It does show up as grey after you sand it, but I may need to stain it in places where the beading doesn't hide it. But anyhow, it's important that I have a nice solid base to put the nails in now, the tacks and nails for the flywire. I'm going to fill all these tiny little cracks as well. This stuff, plastic bond, is like a glue, so it'll bond it up. See, if it's nice and fresh, it's really easy to get into the cracks. You can scrape any excess off really easily. And that's why it's important to have two scrapers. You can work the plastic bond off one. Having two scrapers also enables you to clean them. Use one against the other. Okay, I found the old bracket had been broken, so I filled it with that plastic bond, but you won't see it. It's the fly-by side. Going to fix it there. You want to drill bit almost the thickness of the nail and drill it in practically the whole depth, otherwise you're going to crack the timber. Okay, basically done all the structural part of it. Put the brackets on. Just got to put the flyby on next. I moved these brackets a bit more this way, so it's going to get in the way of my beading, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of like undercutting of the beading along there. The reason is I wanted two screws here as opposed to before I just had one, so it's structurally more stable. It's just the bottom still banks quite a lot. I might give it a bit of a hose down before I put the flywire on. I've had to put the flywire on. When you buy it, it comes sort of like folded, doubled here, so that's good for there. Make sure you leave a bit here. We're going to fold a bit here so that it's got twice the thickness there where the tacks go in. So what we're going to do first is just get that set and just nail along that side. We're going to try to use the smaller tacks because the wood's not very thick and we don't want to go through. Actually, the bigger ones might be alright, but the last thing, some of them are a bit long, they might go through to the other side. I probably won't because the end generally bends. And now I'll see how I go. I forgot to say you put it on a table. It's best to work on a table. I've got it on a table, and I'll just put some sheets. You can put a blanket, just let them bounce around too much. So I've basically done this edge, putting the tacks in every, say, 2 inches, every 5 centimeters or so. Try to keep it flat. There's a bit of a bump there. I might put an extra one there. Then we're going to work on this edge. I'll have to fold this over. I'll show you. I'll put the ruler in place, and I'm going to fold it where the ruler is, and then it'll give it like double strength along that edge. Okay, I use the ruler to bend this edge as well. Once again, you know, not much bigger than the thickness of the beading. It'll all be hidden, but it's good to have like double strength. So it'll be hidden, but it's good to have like double strength. I'm putting about 3 tacks either side, spaced about 2 inches apart. And when you're putting the tacks in, they're really tiny. So all you need to do, because they're really sharp point, is you push it into the wood, and it holds itself up, and then you just tap it down. Okay, all the sides are tacked in. I'm going to put the beading in now. Actually, I've got to put the flywire there. I might do that one as well. So I've got 2 more to do. It's going to be a bit tricky around here because I've moved these brackets so that they hold the frame, as it was really broken up down the bottom. But When I do the beading, I'll be back. Sorry, when I was filming. Anyhow, I had to use a miter, so I'm going to put a new one in here. So I cut that in. I just cut it 45 degrees, so I'm going to mark it very carefully with a pencil here where I want to cut. I'm going to have to drill holes into this when I put nails in, because otherwise it'll crack. I think this is Tassie oak. Okay, tiny drill bit here to put nails in, to holes in for those nails. Problem is that these drills, they don't seem to take the small drill bits, so just put a bit of tape just to thicken up the end for the bit that goes into the chuck. Okay, the flywire on the top half is basically done. When I drill the holes in here, you only drill through this bit of wood. You don't have to drill through. You want the nail to grip, so it's only that's going to crack, so just drill for that. So I'm going to do the bottom and I'll come back. I'm going to film a couple of tricky bits here. Because I moved this bracket so that this screw was on this side of the wood, to hold it better I had to cut a tiny bit there, and this I'm going to have to remove some of this undersurface here so it fits over that. Had to cut tiny bits off here so that the door handle goes on and doesn't interfere. So I'm just working on this bit, and the way I'm going to do it is see if I can film this. I'm basically using the sander to just sand it away from that point. I marked it with a pencil so that it can go on there. So that's the plan. Flywire door is pretty well done. I might stain up some of these bits. Now ready to fit the flywire door. Stick a book underneath the corner to lift it a bit. Get the hinges in place. Start with the top one there, then work the bottom one, then work them through. All fixed. Got a big spring up there. That's a lot better.